Welcome to the Eye Repair group call, guys. I am excited to share with you guys what you can expect on this journey, what you're going to expect in the mail, what everything is going to look like, and how the experience is going to be. Give you some tips and tricks, give you guys some truths, give you guys some maybe testimonies, and give you guys my story, of course, and the story behind the herbs that you'll be consuming and the company that you have bought from. Now, when it comes to the eye repair bundle, this one is our newest one. And the reason why this one came about is because I personally used to wear glasses. This was back in 2018 and 2019. Um, during this time, I didn't realize what glasses were, the concept of getting glasses. I truly thought that they were supposed to make your eyes better for some reason. I don't know why. And when I realized that they were just a prescription, and prescriptions mean that things only work for a certain amount of time until you have to get a stronger dose. That is the modern prescription route that we've kind of taken as humans, I guess. And I know that's dangerous, and I know that's it leads to nowhere. It leads to nowhere. And so during the same time, this is kind of universe helping me, and hopefully this is kind of like me for you. Uh, During that time, I had a friend who was telling everybody he knew how he was improving his eyesight. And for me, during that time, I was having these revelations, and I was like, all right, let me try them. And so I tried them, and then down the line, I started learning about the herbs for the eyes, the organs connected to the eyes, the fruits connected to the eyes, and then, the exercises connected to the eyes. And so when I was able to combine everything, my eyesight just soared and it improved so fast. Well, I can't say too fast. It was about 6 months of consistency until I can confidently say, like, okay, I can drive without glasses, and then about 8 months until I was able to drive at night without glasses. And so it took a lot of consistency. I didn't do the herbs every single day, all 8 months. I did the exercises every single day. Those are super important. Um, but the herbs helped out by using it directly in my eye and then internally as well. And so that's how this came about, because I was able to just, you know, take what I did and bundle it up for you guys. All of our formulas, all of our bundles are created either for me personally when I was dealing with issues that I needed to create a formula for. And they're also inspired from friends and family and the issues that they have. And I realized, well, man, other people might have these issues as well, and so those that's super important to me is creating from a place of experience. And so I'm giving you guys something that is already been experienced and already been done and um, already shown results. I'm not just, conjuring up some random mix just because they're alkaline, just because they're, whatever. And so these are things that are very artistic. Herbal formulas are very artistic. I like to say herbal medicine is a way of art, in my opinion. And these herbal formulas are they're very specific, and so they're targeting certain organs in the body. And when I was healing my eyes, I went after certain organs, and that includes the liver and the heart, besides the eyes and the gut. And that's what this, encompasses. It has uh what, one, two, three, four different products, in here that you'll receive. One for your eyes, one for your heart, liver, and then the gut. Okay. And then also, first let me show you guys, what you'll be receiving as far as the herbs go. So first up, you'll be receiving our gut cleanser. I don't know if it's gonna auto focus. um, this is our gut cleanser tea. This is very, very important. Okay, this is very, very important. There's a reason why I, there's a reason why I include a gut cleanser in every single one of our bundle. That is the only common denominator in every single one of our bundles. It has to have a gut cleanser because if the gut is not worked on, the gut is the root. And it's not just like, the root of your problem, like that saying. I'm saying the gut is quite literally your root, as if you were a tree. It is the first thing that was created. And if you look at it, it points downward. Okay? So the gut is the root. It is going to be a root of any problem you have. Yes, you can work after the liver. Yes, you can work after the heart, the kidneys, the brain, whatever. But this is a non-negotiable. This is a must. Okay, so that's why the gut cleanser is in here. You might ask, what does the gut have to do with the eyes? Why would I be cleaning my gut if it's just my eyes, Joseph? And it's because the gut is super important when it comes to the eyes. The eyes are computers. The eyes are computers. So the eyes require a significant amount of electrolytes to be used in order to keep it going, in order to keep it thriving and functioning well. So the gut is responsible for absorbing those electrolytes, specifically the colon. Okay? So we need to realize that whatever you're working on, it's going to require some type of nutrient, some type of electrolyte, some type of something that your gut needs to absorb. And so this is super important for that. It helps with the absorption in the small intestine, the large intestine. It helps coat the throat or the stomach if you are dealing with some type of over acidity due to the marshmallow root and the slippery elm that is in here. It's great for closing up ulcers and tears and little micro tears that you may have. Some of you guys probably have leaky gut. I would not be surprised. Very, very common. And so the yarrow flower, along with those other two I just named, that's going to help you close that up. And so this is super important, okay? This is to be taken every 2 days, okay? Every 2 days. Now, it comes with a flyer. And on the flyer, it'll say morning, afternoon, evening. Simple as that. Morning, afternoon, evening. And so this is going to help you. This is going to help you know and be consistent, know how to take them and be consistent with taking them. Because it gives you a very easy schedule. It tells you a very clear time on when to take it. Now, the other ones, let me go after the tinctures first. I'll go after the eye repair tea last. But the other ones are going after the heart and the liver. Okay? Your eyes need proper blood flow from the heart. Your eyes are super key in keeping proper circulation. Your heart is super key in maintaining proper circulation to the eyes and to the head and to the just the upper region of the body. course, the lower region as well. But remember, the heart is up here. Okay, this is going faster. So it's constantly feeding it. It's constantly feeding it. And if it doesn't have certain, if you are lacking in certain electrolytes, that's taken from the gut to the liver, taken to the heart, up to the eyes. Okay, they're all connected. And the liver is super important because, again, it gets those nutrients from that colon. It gets those nutrients from that colon. And the eyes are going to be able to benefit, and you're going to be able to feel a difference. Not only is it just going to be, oh, my eyesight is better. No, it's like there's more blood flow going to it. They're not going to be so strained. They're not going to be so dry. Your tear ducts are going to start clearing out. It's going to be lubricated, you know. And so that's why it's super important to go after the heart and the liver. Some people get confused why I would go after the heart and the liver, and once I break it down, they're like, "Wow, that makes so much sense." The heart, one of the leading causes of death in America has to do with the heart. So, I'm not over exaggerating when I say that most people do have some type of heart issue or do have some type of heart weakness, because it's so rampant in our society, and that is due to the oils, all the oils that we consume, especially the fried oils that we consume. And those oils go rancid, and once you have rancid oils, you're gonna have very sticky arteries. I'll tell you that. Okay. You're gonna have a very tough working heart, especially if you don't do physical exercise like that. So you're not even pumping that muscle because the heart is a muscle. You're not even building on it. So it's dangerous. Let me talk about this guy right here. Let me talk about the eye repair formula though. The eye repair formula is our newest formula. It is very special to me. I've been using it for years. Um, this one, a lot of people don't realize that this is not a tea for you to drink. So it's a little different. It's a little different than, something like our gut cleanser. Okay. This you drink. This you apply. You can drink it. It is safe to drink. Some people do drink it and they do say that it tastes good or it tastes pleasant. The other one doesn't taste good. The gut cleanser tea does not taste good. I can tell you that. But this one is used to be put in your eyes directly. It's not used, super often to drink. All right. It's used for your eyes directly. Now, the way that you do that, I'm going to break it down, and then I'm going to break down my experience with it as well. Now, the eye repair formula came to me years ago. Again, when I was dealing with my own eyes, when my mother-in-law was dealing with dry eyes from working in the freezer. If any of you guys experienced that, working in like a really refrigerated section, or being in a very windy or sandy environment, your eyes might get irritated and dry. And so naturally, she asked the family herbalist for some help, and I was able to recreate the formula, define it a little bit more from what I had it before, and it worked on her, and I was like, all right, cool. Let me start putting out this formula. Let me start gifting it to friends. Let me start, putting it out there to to my friends and family that I have this new eye formula, and it started working for other people, and I'm like, all right, this is good enough to take to the world. And so that's what this is. This is our eye repair formula. It contains different herbs in here like eyebright, calendula. Um, it's is a very gentle but effective. Okay, gentle but effective herb mix. And what it's made to really do is to clear out. You guys maybe don't realize, I'm not sure if you guys can see behind me, but there are lymphatic vessels in your eyes, in your eyelids, around your eyes, or through running through your head like this, like a web. You have a lymphatic system all throughout here. And then when it comes to the eyes and around the eyes, you have tear ducts, okay, and um, you have tear ducts and you have little lymph nodes throughout your face. And so it's very easy for us, especially people who wear makeup, people who put oils or products on their face. We put uh, soap, sometimes shampoo, conditioner, whatever goes into our eyes, right? And so it's very easy for the lymph vessels and for the tear ducts around the eyes to become clogged. And this is very dangerous down the line because you're potentially cutting off circulation. You're potentially cutting off your nerves. You're potentially cutting off lubrication, which is actually a big one. When the tear ducts they're called tear ducts for a reason because it's where your tears come from. Well, your tears provide a certain lubrication, and naturally, the tear ducts provide a certain lubrication throughout the day, day in and day out, just to maintain your eyes, just to maintain them moist, because it's very important that they stay moist, right? It's like a computer, you got to keep them cool. And so, when that is disturbed because your tear ducts are blocked up or your lymph vessels are blocked up, or you are getting a lot of debris in your eyes if you do woodwork or construction or road building or whatever building, you're not wearing that eye protection 24/7, then, or not 24/7, but while on the job, then you're susceptible, to get a bunch of debris in your eye, and that can be drying out your eyes. And so something like this would clear that out. Something like this would naturally lubricate your eyes, naturally soothe your eyes. And so it's great for people who have pressure. It's great for people who have excess fat around the eyes. You know, there's a couple herbs in here that, like the calendula especially, it the astringency of it, astringent meaning it kind of like pulls, the astringency of it is pulling waste out. And so when you have something like that clearing out kind of the channels, I guess you can say, then your eye can receive that lubrication. Your eye can then work a lot better, um, because it cannot work while it's dry. Just like you can't work your computer if it overheats. Um, so, this formula is super important to clear out the tear ducts, to bring proper blood flow to the eye, help bring lubrication to the eye. And then when you put that alongside with the exercises that you are going to do with the eyes, then, that's a powerful combination. Okay, and I'm going to talk about the exercises you can do in a little bit. Right now, I'm going to talk about how to make it, how to store it. The other one, the gut cleanser tea, the instructions are on here, but this one you don't store it, you drink it, right? And so your cup that you make, you only make 1 cup at a time. That cup that you make is gone, right? So there's no reason to store it. This one, you take a teaspoon to a pot of a cup and a half of water, and you bring that water to a boil. Turn it up high and bring it to a boil. Once you see the boil starting, you can put your teaspoon of the herbal blend into the pot and cover it. And then you want to turn it down to like a low medium and make sure that it just simmers. It's like that really slow boil, little slow bubbles. And you're going to keep that for about 25 to 30 minutes, depending on the strength that you want it. If you deal with, pretty chronic constipation, if it's a problem for you, then I would do the 30 minutes, but if it's just like you are bloating or you are have some type of burning, have some type of inflammation like that, then you're okay to do the 20 to 25. Um, but the longer that you do it, the stronger that the cleansing action is. And so that one is done every 2 days. Some people do it every day and, some days at a time, skip some days at a time. Some people do that. Um, those are usually the people that need that relief more. Like I need it. It feels good when I drink it, but I can't wait 2 days. I need it. And so I understand. Um, the only thing I do say is, have those breaks. I'll do 3 days at a time, have a break of 3 days, and then 3 days at a time. Or you can do every 2 days. Um, and so, yeah, you choose which one you want depending on the severity of your situation when it comes to the gut. Now, when it comes to the eye repair formula, though, this one is different. This one, you don't have to simmer. It doesn't take 30 minutes. It really only takes about 10 if you want it to be super strong, 20, but I would just recommend the 10. So we don't destroy the more delicate herbs that are in here as compared to that, which is more roots and barks and stuff like that. And this one is more flowers and leaves. Okay, so when it comes to the flowers and leaves, just a quick tip for everybody when it comes to roots and barks, those are usually simmered. Those are usually it takes a little bit longer if you want to do it the right way. If you want not the right way, if you want to do it the most potent way that you can, then the roots and the barks usually take longer. The fruits and the leaves usually take a shorter amount of time because they are more delicate. Their cell walls are more delicate. Okay, just a quick tip for anybody out there who may be getting into herbal medicine and natural medicine for the first time, or who would just love to know that. Now, the eye repair formula is made in 10 minutes. It still takes a teaspoon. I always recommend a teaspoon to 1 cup of freshly boiled water. So when that one started boiling, you put it to low. When this starts boiling, just simply turn it off. Take that teaspoon, throw it in there, take that cover, put it on, and leave it for 10 minutes. Once it reaches that 10 minutes, you want to strain it into a cup and be mindful. I would strain it into a mason jar is usually the best. You can find a mason jar pretty much anywhere now. Um, put it into a mason jar, cap it. Well, leave it out, but when you're done, you're going to cap it and put it in the fridge. When it cools down, because you're going to allow it to cool down, you are then going to start washing out your eyes with it. Now, let me see over here. Now, you have one or two things that you might get. And I say that because sometimes we run out of this, sometimes we run out of that. And so we have like a backup plan. It's going to be one or the other. Now, this is an eye cup. You're either going to get an eye cup like this, or you are going to get a dropper like this. Okay. This you can just squeeze and drop it in. This you fill in, put it to the bottom of your eye, and then you keep it there, and you can look around. Usually I'll look around, and I'll close my eyes, I'll let it go, and then I'll kind of like roll my eyes around, go to the next eye, do the same thing, close my eyes, roll them around. I'll leave it there for just like a couple seconds. One, two, three. Again, it doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be long at all. When you put these, put about five drops. One, two, three, four, five, and on to the other one. And then close your eyes and roll it around. Roll it around each way. Okay, roll it up, roll it down, side to side, roll it around, but keep your eyes closed. Of course, I'm just, demonstrating to you. And this is going to make sure that the tea gets throughout the entire eyeball and it spreads everywhere. It gets to different ducts. And you can do it, about 2 or 3 times if you'd like. And then you're going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, however many times you need to feel relief. So you're going to do it one time and then you can wait, maybe an hour or two or a couple hours. Not even, I've done it. I remember when I was actually first testing it out, I think I did one every hour, like maybe like 6 or 7 times. And so just to test it out, to see, kind of like push my limit and see when it'll irritate me. I know I'm crazy for doing that. Um, but I was able to do it perfectly fine. Um, Eventually, I did get like a little pressure, so I was like, okay, let me stop. And so I was like, a safe recommendation would be 3 times a day. But it's not uncommon to hear people do it 4 or 5 times a day. This is for people who have a really severe, like eye condition. If you don't have that severe of an eye condition, you don't need to do it that many times. Um, but if you do, then I would recommend 3, but I understand if you do 4 or 5. So make sure at least, 30 minutes go by before you do another one. Now, when it comes to the eye repair formula, that cup of tea, if you realize I said 5 drops into each eye, maybe you can do 10 drops, 5 drops, let it rest, roll it around, wait like a minute, and then you can do 5 more if you like. Um, and then you have the eye cup, which is, this small. You're not even going to use all of it. Now, that means you're going to be having that cup of tea for quite a while as compared to the gut cleanser, which you're just drinking in a minute. You're going to have this cup of tea for up to 2 days in the refrigerator. The only thing I will say is that when you take it out of the refrigerator and you pour your little thing, put it back and then leave this for at least a couple minutes to chill out, come back to a little room temperature so it's not super cold. I will say that. Um, yeah, make sure you're not putting it directly into your eye when it's super cold. And yeah, you can have it up to 2 days. And so you see why you would need less. You would need a lot less, and it lasts you longer. And yeah, so put it in the fridge, just cap it up in a mason jar, super simple, and it'll last you quite a while. Okay, this combined with the exercises that I'm going to show you is a super powerful combo. Now, before that, actually, let me show you the 2 other things that you're going to receive in the box. Let me finish the box real quick. Like I said, you're going to get the schedule, and then you're going to get on the other side, it's going to show you what to eat, what to drink, what to avoid, and extra ways to heal. It's going to give you, the tips on all of that. It's going to show you when to take it, how much to take. That's super important. And then it's going to come with a flyer that, see if you guys can see it. a flyer that says herbal guidance. And what it is, it's a QR code that you point your phone at, like you're taking a picture, point it at your phone, and something should pop up. Okay, and when that pops up, it's going to take you directly to the page that we have um, that is dedicated to utilizing our herbs, how to consume it, when to consume it, how to create it, the proper dosages, the best combos, and all of that. Now, the next one is super important, okay, because the next one is the regimen itself when it comes to the eating and the drinking and the fasting, what not to eat, all that. Now, these are two QR codes. These link to our ebooks. One of them is called Living Life the Plant Way, and then another one is called Cleansing the Plant Way. Okay, Living Life the Plant Way and Cleansing the Plant Way. And this is super key because Living Life the Plant Way is gonna show you my kind of like my philosophy on things. It's gonna show you what to eat from day 1 to day 21 while doing this bundle. It's gonna tell you, break it down for you by days, like day 1 through 4, day 1 through 5. Drop this, eat this. Day 5 through 10, something like that. That's just an example. But it's gonna break it down by like, you know, time frames, and it's made to transition you into. It's like a month-long transition to the fast that it's going to have you on at the end of the month from day 21 to 31. That'll complete the month. And this is a juice fast, and that's where cleansing the plant way is right there. That's where cleansing the plant way comes in, and that will lead you even further into the juice fast that you'll do eventually. And then it'll lead you out of it very safely. And so all of these are to be followed at the same time. Well, when I say all of these, I mean these two. Okay, the flyer telling you when to take it, and then the ebook, the herbal guidance flyer, just to remind you, just takes you to our webpage that we have that's dedicated to getting all those questions answered on how to consume, how to create it, and things like that. If you ever forget, if you don't want to just come back to the video and listen to a video, if you want to just like look up something, it's right there. But yeah, the ebook super important. Both of the ebooks are super important, and the flyer with the schedule of the herbs, that's super important. And that is what you can expect in your package. It's going to come in a brown box right here. Everything will be, well, when I say everything, I mean these three will be individually packaged. This one would be on its own outside of any box, of any packaging, and it's going to come in this big box. Okay. Now, I am going to start doing the eye exercises for you. Okay. And these are super, 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 super important. This is, remember, your eye is like a computer. Your eye, you can also say that your eye is like a muscle. And these are things that can be trained, these are things that can be worked at, these are things that can be strengthened. But these are also things that can be atrophied. And atrophied meaning, for those of you who don't know the definition of atrophy, atrophy is essentially when you don't use it, you lose it. That's essentially what atrophy is. You don't use it, you lose it. And that's when, a muscle or some type of yeah, muscle or organ or gland or function in the body that you don't use, it's just going to get weak over time and not end up working properly. It's going to get weak and frail. It's like for people who just sit down all day as compared to people who are out running or exercising. One of them is going to be more their bones, their structure, their muscle, their whatever that they're not using is going to get weaker and weaker and just like disintegrate over time. That's atrophy. And it happens to, I mean, it can happen to our eyes, it can happen to our everything, absolutely everything. And so for the eyes, it's very important that we work them out. And the way that you work them out is with these exercises. Not only that, though, the way that you work them out is by getting your eyes used to seeing things at a distance. Just think about it. Everything that we usually look at, every screen that we usually look at nowadays is most likely within an arm's reach of us. Whether it's us on laptops, on our phones, you know, some people sit really close to the TV. Some people are just looking at some type of screen, some type of blue light source within arm's reach. And so, not all the time do people actually look off into the distance for quite a long time or, for some time. We'll look at a screen for an hour straight that's right in front of our face at the office or at or whatever. And our eyes get accustomed to that. It starts to almost forget it starts to have to take a while to reconfigure the image when you even try to look out anymore. Has anybody ever felt that when you're looking at the screen all day, when you're looking at your phone for too long, and then you look up, things kind of take a little bit to get adjusted? You're like, oh, okay, it's a little blurry, but okay, I can see it now a little bit. It's the same thing. And so, we have to start retraining our eyes to see out into the distance again for a longer period of time than we currently do. Okay? Sit and stare at a distance. Okay? Whether you're on the bus or whether you're a passenger, or you're on the train, or you are sitting at a shop, or you're sitting at the park, or you're walking, you're hiking, there's always a time that you can find where you are just looking off into the distance, whether it's that far tree, whether it's the mountains in the background, whether it's that building over there, or whether it's that plane in the sky over there, or whether it's that cloud, or whether it's that bird over there. Start looking off into the distance. Get comfortable and get used to that and be consistent with that. Okay. That is a quick tip because not many people just even realize that sometimes. We've almost forgotten about how dangerous it is to have something right there close to our face. I grew up in the era where my mama would tell me, get back, you're too close to the TV. And now we have kids with iPads and stuff right here in their face, and it's very damaging. It's very damaging. So it's no wonder why so many people have glasses. Now, when it comes to the when it comes to the exercises, this is something you don't need anything for. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to really, um, acquire anything. You can do this anywhere at any time. Easiest example that I can show you is going to be with the wall that's in front of me, okay? Or with the poster that's in front of me right here. And, you're going to find something on your wall that you want to look at. Or you can go outside and look at a tree. That might be even better for you. And what you're going to do is you're going to start these exercises. This is exercise number one. Exercise number one is you're going to find the spot on your wall or you're going to find a tree or plant to look at. And you are going to go to your limit on where you can see. So, for example, some people have really bad eyesight. They really can't see much further than this, maybe like an arm's reach. What I would do is I would find that spot, I would find that distance to where the blurriness is starting to creep in and I'm losing that eyesight or I'm losing that clear image. Once you start to lose that clear image, that is your limit. And you're going to be testing your limits every single day. You can do it when you wake up, you can do it when you go to sleep. Highly recommend you do both if you really want to, if you want to be a little bit more aggressive with it. Now, find that spot. Let's say if that spot is here for me, you're gonna take one hand, you're gonna cover it just like you would do at the optometrist. Put one hand over, and then put the other hand over, and you're gonna stare at it with each eye for 1 to 3 minutes. Okay? 1 to 3 minutes. If you want to go longer, go ahead. But the minimum is a minute. The minimum. And you can do that with each eye, and then you can do it with both eyes. Okay? So that's only going to take about 5 minutes. The next one, number two, would be, or you can swap these out if you'd like. Number two would be, just making sure that your eyes touch every single corner of the eye socket, every single space in the eye socket. You're going to go around, you're going to go around. You can do this with your eyes closed. Okay, I'm just showing you with my eyes open. But do this with your eyes closed. You're going around, you're going around. It can be slow. In fact, I would recommend it to be slow. And you're gonna feel some type of pressure. You're gonna feel some type of tension, maybe some type of pain in certain areas that you look. And that's just to show you that your muscles are straining itself. Okay, and you haven't done that. You haven't maybe looked that way in a while. You haven't worked that muscle in a while. To be honest with yourselves, how many people really are looking up like this for a minute at a time? Like, not many. Okay, just the weird ones like me. All right, so you're gonna be one of the weird ones, and every single morning and every single night, you are going to exercise your eyes. You're gonna look them up for at least 30 seconds. Look them down for at least 30 seconds. Look to the right for at least 30 seconds. Look to the left for at least 30 seconds. You're going to find pressure. In fact, I felt a little pressure going this way. And that means my eyes are maybe a little dehydrated from all these lights that I have. So it's very important to be in tune with your eyes like that. Feel that discomfort. Don't run away from it. Feel that discomfort and work on it. It's not supposed to be comfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. They have been strained, they have been depleted, they have been inflamed, they have been dehydrated. It's not supposed to feel comfortable. But when you start adding these exercises with the herbs, then it won't feel so uncomfortable after a while. You know, the lubrication and the exercises, it's like working out, working out the biceps at the gym. Eventually, you can move to higher weight. Eventually, you're going to get more comfortable. Eventually, it's not going to hurt so much after you work out, and you're not going to feel so sore. And it's the same concept with the eyes. They're a computer, they're also a muscle, and they require a lot of electricity. They require a lot of, just care. Okay, care. And they require that we use them. So when we do use them, let's use them to their fullest extent. Let's make sure that we are stretching it to every single boundary. We are looking in every single way possible. Okay, and that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go around slowly in each side, clockwise, counterclockwise. You're gonna look up for a period of time, down, left, right. You're also gonna look diagonally. Okay. These are the exercises that you should be doing every single morning, every single night. You can do them after you put in the I formula if you like, if that makes it easier for you. That can be your little routine. Make the tea, pour the tea, you're doing your eye exercises, or you can wait for it to cool down, put it in your eyes, and then start doing the eye exercises. Um, that's great too. And that might be needed for you in case you are suffering from a lot of discomfort with your eyes. Now, a quick tip, two tips actually. One of them I already said kind of was, let me go deeper into it. The blue lights and the fluorescent lights. These are very straining to our eyes. And when your eyes are working harder, they are more susceptible to dehydration. No different than if you were to work out or if you were to play ball and you're sweating too much, you're going to become dehydrated. Same thing with the eyes. They dehydrate the eyes. Okay? So be very mindful of that fact. Be very mindful on how much blue lights your eyes are consuming. Very, very important. All right. The blue eyes will come from your screens. It's not just these lights that I have. Your blue eyes will come from your office lights. Some people have blue lights in their house. I would highly recommend you change those to a warm light. There are warm light bulbs everywhere. Everywhere you would buy a cool light bulb, you can buy a warm light bulb. The cool light bulb is the more white light, fluorescent light, blue light. And then obviously the warm one is the more oranged out, similar to fire. So this is super important because in the society that we live in, especially if you're one who lives a city, suburban, office job, the common worker in a city setting. If you're one of them, then and I used to be a banker when I first got the glasses, and so I was in my front of my computer, literally like this far away, and destroyed my eyes. Destroyed my eyes. And so, when you start recognizing how often you're in front of a blue light, it's actually kind of wild. It's a wild realization. All right. So, tip number one would be to, limit that as much as possible. Do your work that you have to do your things that you have to do, but, as soon as you don't have to do it, um, get outside and get some of that sunlight. Okay. And the second tip, this one is going to be very, very dependent on you and your situation. Remember that whenever the eyes are looking through lenses, there is a different focus that it has to do. Okay, there's a different focus than if there was no lens and it has to just focus on the world. When it has to look through a lens to look at the world, it's a different type of focus from this computer. It's a different setting, okay? And that over time will become the default settings if it's done too often. You understand? So I want you guys to realize that the eyes, they really want to just see the natural world without any type of screens, without any type of lens, without having to look through things like that. It's very unnatural to do that. And we are in a time where most people, a majority, I can confidently say a majority of people, wear sunglasses entirely too often, and they wear their glasses entirely too often. When I was wearing glasses, I was able to find any excuse to be able to put them away. If I was on the bus, I'm putting them away. I'm not driving. I don't need them per se. Like, have an app on your phone. I had an app on my phone that would show me, the bus stops and where I'm at, so I don't have to look out and see a sign. So things like that, I was able to make it work for me. And you got to find those times to be able to make it work for you. Okay, whatever that might be. I don't know how that looks like for you. When I was at work, they were off because I know my surroundings and I can walk through the office really easy. I know where I'm going. Um, if I was on my lunch break, they're off. If I was on any break, they were off, and I'm sitting down. Um, if I was reading a book, they were off. If I was having to look at something in front of me, they were off. I was finding any type of reason to take them off. When I needed them, they were on. If I was driving, they were on. Obviously, I'm not telling you don't, drive without your glasses. When you don't need them, when your life is not at risk, when you don't need your glasses, take them off. Okay? And determine what that means for you. Determine when you don't need them. Okay, it's not going to look the same as me, or it's not going to look the same as somebody else. Okay, so, but the point is to get rid of the lenses in front of the eyes as much as possible and to look out into the distance as much as you can. Look out into things that are distant from you. Okay, don't get too comfortable with allowing your eyes to just look through lenses and windows, um, and screens all day. All right. It wants to analyze the environment on its own, not with the help of lenses. So find that time for you. Combine those tips with the exercises, with the herbs to take. You're going to have yourself a great healing journey. You're going to have yourself, um, a very memorable experience. You are going to feel different things throughout your body. I don't know what that looks like. It's going to be different for everybody. I don't know what your relief looks like, but you're going to feel something, you know? So complete it for the next 31 days. Have that discipline, have that consistency. Give yourself that consistency. It's not about the intensity, it's about the consistency. Okay? So if day 1 through 5 you were plant-based and you did good and you followed the ebook and you followed the guide, woohoo, oh cool. But day 6 and 7 you were on vacation, you were at the party, you were at this house, you were at this place, and maybe you didn't really eat what was the cleanest, or drink what was the cleanest, or smoked something, then don't just say, "Well, I ruined everything." You know, it's about consistency, not about intensity. So it's not all or nothing. You understand? It's not all or nothing, is what I'm trying to say. Uh, if you do fall off, if you do have that cheat day, if you do have that cheat moment, forgive yourself and move on. Forgive yourself and move on. Get yourself back on track. Say, all right, tighten up. Let's do it. Strap our boots. Let's get to it. Enough is enough. If you have another cheat day, well, forgive yourself, move on. But to complete the 31 days as consistent as you can and as disciplined as you can, you're allowing yourself the opportunity to find your remedy. Okay? I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for being here. And I appreciate you guys for supporting. And best of luck on your journey.